Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing the so-called digital wallet here in Thailand. I'm just going to go ahead and jump in, quoting directly from a recent article in the Bangkok Post, bangkokpost.com. Article is titled, "Political Turmoil Could Put Handout at Risk, Say Analysts." First off, this whole notion that the Thais need a handout has just been anathema to me. I don't like it. Anytime the government's giving out handouts, watch out. Guess what kind of governments also used to give out handouts? Communist governments. So that's why I don't like handouts, quite honestly. Quoting further, rising political uncertainty poses significant risks to Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin's plan for a 500 billion baht digital wallet handout to stimulate the economy. A couple of things there. Already spoke to the issue of handouts, but regarding the notion of stimulating the economy, this has been sort of the pretext for all of this. And the question posed is it really even necessary? The Thai economy is effectively turned around. We've done the videos talking about the astounding numbers in Q1 of 2024, including consumer spending being way up, which poses the question, what is all this new consumer consumption coming from? Could it possibly be the new agricultural product that's recently come on the market in Thailand? Could that have anything to do with that? Could it have anything to do with the tourism demand for that same product, the tourist demand for that product? That could have something to do with it. That said, back to the main point, there's no real evidence that the economy needs any particular stimulating. Moreover, these Keynesian notions that the economy needs to be stimulated really is just a pretext for government intervention. At the end of the day, it's a pretext essentially for experts to tell us all how we should live our lives. I think it was Stalin who once said that communism is socialism in a hurry. Well, I say Keynesianism is socialism by subterfuge, and there is no greater example of Keynesianism than the government needing to inject money in the economy in order to stimulate it. Except under these circumstances, even the Keynesian presupposition, which I don't even necessarily agree with, but even the Keynesian presupposition isn't even valid because it doesn't look like the economy needs stimulating to begin with. Quoting further, say analysts at Citigroup and Nomura Holdings. Both Nomura and Citigroup see the Srettha administration facing challenges to funding the handout. Well, you think? I mean, one of them being they literally have been talking about creating 2 orders of magnitude more liquidity than already exists in the present banking system to create this whole thing. Meanwhile, the end result is the nation goes into debt to the tune of 2 times more than the total amount of money in the banking system for a handout that is not even real money, as we've discussed. It's digital tokens that you can only spend in certain places on certain things that are government prescribed and within a certain area that the government will dictate. I mean, does anybody think that's a good idea to go into a massive amount of debt for that? A plan to pass a 122 billion baht supplementary budget. Well, that's the part they couldn't sort of play the shell game with all the different banks to be able to come up with the money out of. And so now they're going to go hit up the Thai public for another 122 billion baht, again, for something that is only going to result in no real tangible benefit, no value creation for the economy and the people. It's just, again, sort of creating a situation where you get these tokens, which again can't be spent everywhere, are used for constant totalitarian surveillance of financial transactions, can only be spent on certain things, and have an expiration date. They can turn the money off whenever they want. Okay, if you even call it money, it's not money, but we're ponying up that for that benefit? What a benefit, what a great deal. To partly finance the cash stimulus, well, it's partly financing it because, again, the government is financing the rest of it. So it's partly, the government is partly financing what the government is also partly financing, but the nation is going to go on the hook for the debt, so it's going to be our taxes long term. We're going to be increasingly taxed to pay off this fantastical handout. Again, of money that doesn't exist and can't actually be spent anywhere and will be used to surveil you at all times in all things. Cash stimulus faces uncertainty in Parliament as some lawmakers remain lukewarm to the idea. Can't imagine why. Can't imagine why there'd be any lawmakers that are lukewarm to the idea of 2 orders of magnitude more money created in terms of debt that the country then goes on the hook for something we don't actually get a benefit out of. The digital wallet is the centerpiece of Mr. Sreta's strategy to lift the economy out of a decade-long sub 2% economic growth. Well, first of all, again, that presupposes that GDP is the end-all be-all metric of all economic activity here in Thailand. But at the end of the day, GDP is only a function of bank credit. So it's only looking at the parts of the economy that bankers can control is basically what that means. And anybody who's ever been to Thailand knows there's a huge informal economy, and that's a good thing. That's free enterprise, and that has constantly acted as the buffer when international finance has wrecked the local national Thai economy. At the end of the day, it was the informal economy that was the cushion that kept the wheels from falling off the wagon. Not to mix too many metaphors, but that's how it worked. You know, it was the informal economy that acted as the backstop that saved the country. You know, so anytime they talk about, well, sub 2% GDP growth, yeah, in your metrics, in your way of tabulating in you being the bankers, the banking establishment, if you will. By the way, these are all statements against interest. It's never a good idea for lawyers to say a lot of stuff against bankers because we can make a lot of money off of bankers. But at the end of the day, I'm making these videos because I want what's right for the country. I don't really care about all that nonsense at the end of the day. And it's becoming ridiculous. If there isn't any... If you want the finest point of that, look at the West. Just look at them. Look at their financial system. Look at the things that they talk about and the terminology they use. It sounds almost neo-Marxist. Quantitative easing, the Operation Twist. All that. I mean, come on. You know, come on. And meanwhile, you know, I'm not anti-debt per se. You know, that's, you know, national debt can be useful. If they were saying, hey, we want to take on, you know, a lot of national debt to build this land bridge that people have been talking about. Well, that's an infrastructural project that could have tremendous high earning ramifications for the country over the long haul and could benefit anyone in the nation. You know, anybody that's looking to trade, anybody that's looking to export, that would help that. I don't see what this thing does for anyone, this so-called digital wallet. So at the end of the day, that seems to be the current situation. We'll certainly keep you updated on this channel as the situation evolves.